Check 1, 2. Mike, what did you eat for breakfast?
I had 4 eggs and a piece of toast.
Hola, Wellness Amigos. This is your SLV Health Wellness Coordinator, AJ Webb, and I have a powerful episode of this wellness show to bring to you today. I got to sit down with Mike Espinoza, and if you don't know Mike works down in the basements with the material crew. He is the purchasing agent for SLV Health, and part of their duty is they have all kinds of weird shaped, crazy, heavy stuff, so being able to pick up heavy things has got to be an asset for Mike. Mike is a stout fella. It does not surprise me that Mike has some of his best lifts listed as a 545-pound squat, a 385-pound bench press, and a 555-pound deadlift. Not too shabby. That totals a 1470 and some change. Very big total for a man about 5'8", 220-ish pounds. But Mike wasn't always that way. Mike, as we sat down, I was curious to see if Mike's always been a strong guy, and that just isn't the case. He started out a very slender fella, graduating high school in 2004, a small guy, and then as he transitioned to adult life, found himself looking at pictures and saying, man, I really don't like how this is going, because he had gained 40 plus pounds. It was about 200 pounds. Mike then decided to make a change. He found a friend. He found P90X. So he started out with a structured workout program and completed the 90 days and lost himself 35 pounds, which is terrific. And I think he did it in 90 days. But then he found himself that he was too small, too slender, and he wanted to be bigger and stronger. So he did what he needed to do. He found some people to help him out. He found some people to coach him, to give him some advice, and most importantly, I think for Mike, to lift with. He found an accountability partner / a workout partner, and that is a tremendous asset when it comes to building consistency. I can speak firsthand about Mike's consistency. When I would spend every afternoon after I got off of work at Valley Health and Fitness, which is now Valley Sports and Wellness, I'd see Mike, I'd see his partner Jim there every day, almost without fail. So I've always been very impressed with his ability to stay consistent and make it to the gym. But as I talked to him more and more, I became more and more impressed with him and with his ability to find out information and incorporate it into his workout plan so he could do the things that he wanted to do with his strength and fitness. After lifting for a long time and starting out learning and emphasizing technique, Mike has found powerlifting. So him and Jim are both certified in one particular coaching method for powerlifting. So they've gone through rigorous tests and trainings, and they have some credentials. They have some certification to back up the information, which Mike says was a tremendous asset for him because it's great information for him to have. He took some classes, and I think that's been a reoccurring theme here for Mike, is that he's not been afraid to seek out information and also not afraid to share it with others. Mike and I talk a little bit about Gymtimidation, or this idea that people are scared of one another in a gym, or people can't be approached, or some people are jerks. And while there are jerks out there, for the most part, people that you find in a gym setting are going to be more than willing, and maybe even over willing, to share their knowledge, skills, wisdom with you. And you got to vet out what's good advice and what's bad advice. However, the idea that going into a gym and being intimidated, we want to reinforce that for the most part we have more in common than we do different, and that we're happy to help out. We being people that go to the gym on a regular basis, we're happy to help out folks with whatever they might need. So I would like you to subscribe to this YouTube channel. I'd like you to like this video. I'd like you to leave some comments and show some support for these types of videos if you find them valuable, so we can continue to leverage the experience and the success, the knowledge, skills, wisdoms, and abilities of others, so we can use it in our own wellness. Have a tremendous listen to this conversation with Mike Espinoza.
Mike Espinoza, Welcome to the. You say it Espinoza or Espinoza?
It's S-A.
Espinoza.
Espinoza.
Welcome to my wellness cave.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah, thanks for coming. I'm pumped to talk to you about strength. You and I've seen each other at the gym
multiple times
for a
long
few
time,
times, right? Which is, you and I have both put up, we've invested some time in lifting, and we saw each other, a few times. Definitely an understatement. Dozens and dozens of times.
Yeah.
Not uncommon for it to be every night. So I want to talk to you a little bit about that consistency. But first, can you tell me what is it you do here at SLV Health?
I'm the purchasing agent here for the hospital. Been here 13 and a half years ago, almost 14. Worked my way up from the bottom, started doing materials management, and just been there since.
Right on. So you get all the gear that we need to take care of people here?
Everything goes through us, and everything goes to me for ordering.
Awesome. So you guys are, so being a strong dude's probably pretty handy in that department.
Very handy.
You're gonna have to move some stuff around, boxes of paper. I can only imagine what kind of crazy stuff that comes.
They have beds and big things and X-ray machinery and everything that comes through there. I mean, it helps that Jim and I are there to.
And Jim's your supervisor, right?
Yes.
And
he's my director.
So he's the director of materials management.
Yes.
All right. And also a lifter.
Yes.
So when we say lifter. Can you give me a little bit about your history with lifting?
Lifting was never part of my life when I was young. I was tiny. I graduated 135 pounds.
Yeah.
Was never big. Never had to worry about it. I had that skinny guy, 6'8" pack. I didn't worry about it.
Right. As
I got older, though, life took a toll. Metabolism slowed down, and I became a big boy.
Yeah.
I was 200 pounds. I was fat. I was unhealthy. I'm 5'8".
5'8".
So, I mean, and I didn't notice it until I saw family pictures. Next to my brother, who's always been athletic. My brother's always been into lifting, always been athletic. He was bigger than me all the time. Finally, looking at pictures, I realized it was time to do something.
Yeah.
So I started somewhere. I didn't know where to start. Didn't know what to do.
What year did you graduate?
I graduated in 2004.
So you graduated in 2004. And then what year did you make this decision to change what was going on with yourself?
My daughter's about 3. She was born in 05, so probably about 2008.
2008.
About 9-10 years now.
Okay. So you saw something, you said, hey, I got to make a change, and you just told me you didn't know where to start. Where did you start?
A buddy and I started talking, and we started with P90X.
Yeah.
At home. We bought the system together.
Tony Horton, baby.
Yep.
That's right.
Bought the system, went to my dad's shop, set up a room just for us with our own pull-up bar, set up everything, did the diet. We actually took the time to do the actual diet of his, like he was supposed to. Like we said, let's do this, because it's nice to have someone that holds you accountable.
Right.
Like doing it alone.
We paid $300 for this DVD.
Exactly.
Set. We're not going to sally this.
I mean, doing it by yourself, there's more chance of you not finishing.
Right.
By having somebody, you have more accountability and someone you have to meet up with every night to finish and to do it. And it makes it nice that way. It makes it easier. So I did that. So I was about 200 pounds, went down to 165.
Wow. That's a big change right there.
Yeah, and what is it, the 90 days? P90X, in 90 days, it went down from 200 to 165.
By the way, you can purchase P90X. I mean, just kidding, but that's an awesome plug for them.
Yeah.
So what happened next?
So next, I wanted more. So we got the P90X Plus, did that for another 60 days, went down to 155. And I was happy there for a little bit. Then I felt too small. Like, I didn't have muscle to build or cut down to begin with. Like, I started just from being fat. So at that point, I felt small. And at that point, I wanted to jump into strength. I wanted to jump into lifting.
Change it up, change the programming. Can you just walk me through real quick? P90X gets thrown around all the time, and I know that there's a variety of different workouts, and there's a shoulder one and a chest one and a yoga one, but what's a typical P90X for someone that's never experienced P90X? What's a typical
It's just a lot of bodyweight exercises. I mean, at most use dumbbells and band tension. That's pretty much it is. I mean,
a little bit of resistance.
Yeah, a little bit of resistance, a little bit of dumbbell work, and some pull-ups.
And if I recall, I've done a few of them, but they were kind of the specialized ones. It's you set it on and you're warmed up. There's like a counter and a certain amount of time.
Yeah, so if it falls into a training regimen, it's more like HIIT training.
Okay.
It's more like designated, here's a slot time, HIIT training for the actual workouts.
Right.
And then you had your yoga days, where just simple yoga, which wasn't simple. That was the most difficult, I believe, out of all of it, I felt.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Do you feel that starting with something like P90X, which was very structured, has a bunch that's going on, obviously the coach isn't coming off and like coach, hey, get your elbows out, or something like that. But do you feel that structure really helped you develop this? I mean, obviously it helped you. You lost 40 pounds.
Yeah, like I say, it was a huge thing for me. It was something I could go off of, who was someone that was certified in something, someone who had background experience and history in doing what they did.
Right.
And that was huge for me at the time, because I didn't just want to go to anyone random, and because you don't know the results you're going to get.
Right.
When you go to someone who's certified and has a background in what you're wanting to learn, it's the best way to proceed.
Yeah, they paid some dues.
Yes.
They paid some dues. And
they've gone through trial and error, and they've pushed out their product to hoping it's the best. Now, does it work for everybody? No. I mean, not everyone wants that.
Yeah, exactly. Teach their own. So you get through some P90X, this kind of structured resistance, some dumbbells. It's got recovery days and it's got some diet built in there.
Yeah.
But now you're, man, I want to be a bigger, stronger version of myself. So you made one change. Where did you go? How did you start that?
I went to my boss at the time, Jim, because we worked together for, he's only been there 3 months longer than me. And he's always been in and out of gym. He was a big boy. He's always been strong. I mean, over the years, and I knew he knew a lot because we would talk about it at work here and there, and he would say things. So I knew he knew enough to get me started.
Yeah.
So I hit him up. I'm like, hey, I want to start the gym. Would you be interested in going? Just show me for a few days, and then if you don't want to stay, that's cool. I just want to kind of get in.
Awesome.
So we did. We went out on Monday. We signed up, and he had been out of it for a couple of years, and he knew he needed it again. He wanted it again. And so he's like, nope, I'm going to stay with you. And so since then, we've been lifting together for 9.5 years consistently, 10 years consistently.
Wow. That's awesome. So you make this change. You found someone that, maybe you knew that Jim knew some stuff, but it wasn't like you had to pay bajillions of dollars to go find the expert, most power lifter in the universe. But you found someone who knew a little bit more than you, and you struck yourself up a relationship. It sounds like you've had a solid workout partner.
Yeah, it's been great. It's been hard. Who gets that? I got lucky with that. It's one of those things. It's very hard to find consistency with people in working out.
Awesome. So how did you guys start? Did you guys just start with the basics? Did you guys jump into someone's program? What did you guys do?
We started with the basics. We went over bench, we went over deadlift, we went over squat, just the basic lifts and the accessory movements that went with them. It was nothing crazy. When I started, I think I could only bench 95 pounds. It wasn't much because I was small at 165 and I never really lifted. I did in high school, but it was just a mess around class. It was an easy A.
Right, men's conditioning.
Yeah. And I think my squat was only 135. My deadlift was only 185. It was minor. For my world, it's small. For people, that's big numbers too. There's nothing wrong with numbers. It's just my world that I live in. It was small. But that was a start. So we went there and he learned a lot. That's what I like about Jim and the people I have around me, the certain friends I pick, people like Adam. Their mindset is great. They research things. It's not just, let's try this, let's try this. They look for the research behind it first and then figure out what works, what doesn't work, what can we do, what can't we do, what's going to cause more injury, what's going to be more beneficial. We look at the pros and cons.
For sure. It's one thing to, bless everyone that says, I'm going to try this, and that's an experiment for them. But it's another thing to say, you know what, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do it this way for this amount of time, and I'm going to see what happens and how I respond to it. I think setting these experiments up for us and going out and finding some people, that's you doing your own research, and you're kind of leveraging their knowledge, wisdom, experience, and skills.
And I noticed too is you got to want to find someone, because when someone tries to find you, it pushes them away. They get scared, they get intimidated. I've approached people before at the gym trying to be, hey, I can help you with this if you have any questions, and it's intimidating.
Oh yeah.
So someone's got to want to come to you, which is fine. If you want to come to you, that's great, because if you're open and you have the experience to teach them some things, it's great.
Yeah, I found for me, in sharing CrossFit and Olympic lifting and these kinds of things, it's way easier to share when they had already paid me money, because that relationship's kind of set up.
Yeah, it's already built in.
They had this desire. They had this.
They're invested.
Exactly. So they wanted to learn. So you guys start lifting. You start with the basics, the bench, squat, and deadlift. So when we say lifting, you and I are mostly talking about your preference is powerlifting, right?
That came later, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, so powerlifting didn't start right away.
Okay.
Like I say, we bulletproofed ourselves. We did a lot of hypertrophy work, a lot of reps,
So hypertrophy meaning high reps, lots of sets, and your
isolation movements.
Fill the muscle with the blood, and so you're
so we were doing anywhere from 4 to 10 sets of 10 to 15 reps.
Okay. Isolating
the muscles, picking certain days, chest and triceps, and doing certain things certain days to build the muscle. It was to strengthen everything before we tried to put strength to it.
Right.
This way it was protection, so injury would be less chance.
When I started training in CrossFit, I was like upset at like all my coaches for a long, because I was like drinking the Kool-Aid and I was like, this is the way, you know.
Yeah.
But what I just didn't understand was all of that hypertrophy work, all of that auxiliary work, all of those things besides the compound lifts that I was doing when I was training for football. They were just designed to make me more durable.
Yeah.
They're designed to get me through the season. I just didn't understand that because I was like, no, the only reason we lift is for performance, so you can jump this much higher and all these different things. But doing those things, even though they didn't necessarily make you more stronger, explosive, they were worth the investment because they made me a more durable athlete. So it sounds like you guys started in a really good place as far as you strike up a relationship. You got your master sensei, so to speak. You got your Obi-Wan, and you guys start. You're not going straight into as heavy as you can. You know.
Yeah, no,
right
see,
from
that
the
was
jump.
far from it. Yeah, I mean, I didn't get stronger till later. I mean, it takes time to get to that point.
Right. So you guys start with the hypertrophy. You guys start with the sets and reps. What was your guys' talk around like technique and stuff like that?
Jim was big on technique and form. Like I say, he had learned it over time from what he learned over time with people and other people he talked to, and like that was the main goal. Like he's like, I don't care if you can only do the bar, I don't care what you can do. We're gonna learn form and technique. So that's always been driven into me since day one.
Awesome.
Which is nice because I had not lifting. I had no bad flaws to have to be fixed.
Yeah,
like it was completely new.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, there was nothing there that, okay, this needs to be fixed, this needs to be fixed. It's like, okay, this is new, you're learning, and we can move forward with this.
Awesome.
So it made it a little easier on me, because there's still things, I mean, there's things over time you build that you don't realize wrong in your form or technique.
Yeah.
You're like, okay, that can cause this issue if I do it this way, continue, but you don't recognize that.
Right, yeah, those things that only show up in either big lifts or after, you know, crazy amounts of volume or something. Like, something gives. So when did powerlifting come in?
So we actually just lifted, and we tried multiple programs over the years. We've talked to people here and there, nothing major. Like it was just, okay, we'd find stuff we'd be interested in.
Some from a magazine.
Yeah.
Arnold,
or articles.
Arnold Calf Protocol.
Articles online, stuff like that. I mean, it was more power building is what we did over the years.
Okay.
It was more...
I see.
Yeah, it was more power building. Like we'd
so
lift
mixing powerlifting, which is typically bench, squat, deadlift.
Yeah.
And then building kind of...
like bodybuilding.
Right? So... higher reps, getting the pump.
Yeah, because at the time, my goal was to get bigger. I mean, that was I was 155, and I wanted to get bigger in a leaner and healthier way. So, I mean, within the first year, I went from 165 back up to 200.
Wow.
But it was healthier. It was a good 200 because I was lifting this time. I was not eating completely clean like I probably should have been, but I mean, I needed to get all the calories in order to get the size I wanted with the strength I was getting. So it wasn't until probably about 3 years ago that powerlifting became more serious.
Okay.
We were kind of getting bored with our workouts. It was kind of like, what's our goal here anymore? Like you kind of realize, what am I doing? Like I love this, but why do I love this? I'm here every day.
Something to
like
chase.
there was something, there was no goal. So it's like, if I lift that today, I lift that. If I don't, I don't. Like I don't have nothing in mind. Oh, sure, let's try that, I guess. Like it was. So we got researched it online, checked it out. Was just looking. I found powerlifting. I found the USPA.
Okay.
I saw they're having a meet like in 3 weeks.
U.S. Powerlifting Association.
It's the United States Powerlifting Association, is USPA. Who was only been here in Colorado for 5 years, I believe.
Okay.
They just, because they're fairly new, they started in 2010.
Okay.
So I found it. I told Jim, I said, hey, we should go up to Denver, go watch this. So let's go check it out. He's like, well, so he researched it, signed up.
Boom.
Before the deadline.
Bam.
Not even knowing any of the protocols, the techniques, like
whatever we're doing.
We didn't know about the world of powerlifting. Like we didn't know how detailed the world was.
Right.
So he's like, I'm doing it. I was like, okay, then we have to go now. So we went. He did the first meet in the USPA, and we fell in love with it. Like, it wasn't just the lifting; it was the people. It was the atmosphere. It was just how it was held. Like that's what we fell in love with.
Yeah. Well, it sounds like that's a real, no pun intended, strong community.
Oh, right? It is, and that's what I love about it. Because it's like the CrossFit community. It's like a brotherhood. Like it's a family. It's not just me against you. We could be head to head. At the same day, you have your head to head person helping you out. Like at the end of the day, if you take second, you take third, they beat you. It's still good job. Like
it's hard to beat an environment, and there. I mean, you know. So this is one thing, you know, you find those environments or you find those workout partners where you can kind of align on goals. Maybe you're aligning on philosophies, but you're definitely kind of invested in the same thing. I think that there's a lot of folks that suffer from that gymtimidation. You know what I mean?
There is.
Where they're maybe afraid to go into the gym because of whatever reason it is, because they don't They don't like how they look, they don't like how they perform or something like that. And they're going to walk by Big Bad Mike, who's been doing it for 20 years now. And since they go, oh, I'm not as strong as Mike, I'm definitely not going to talk to him, and I'm going to be intimidated by him, and be all discouraged and leave.
Oh, and that's huge. It actually happened to us in the gym there for a little bit. That we got talked to, like, hey, you guys being intimidating because your weights you guys push and stuff like that.
They pulled the lunk alarm on you.
They did, and I'm like, we're not trying to be those people. That's just, this is what we do. Like,
right.
I mean, if they want to talk, we're more than willing to teach or help or go along the course of the lines.
Well, yeah, it wasn't like you were grabbing, hey, punk, and shoving them in a locker or anything. Like
No,
you were just doing your thing.
Yeah, we were doing our thing, but as we started powerlifting, our group started growing.
Oh, okay.
Like, say, it started with Jim and I, and then within the first year, we had 2 other guys that were competing. And then within the year and a half to 2 years, we've had up to 13 people compete with us now.
Wow. That's intense.
So when you have a group of anywhere from 4 to 13 showing up on a given night, it's intimidating.
Yeah.
Especially when their whole goal is power. Like, your goal is to push heavy that day.
And but again, though, I know that if I was brand new in town, and even if I was a twerp, I could probably walk in there, hey, what are you guys doing? I mean, it's not like you're going to be like, get out of here, nerd, and give me a wedgie and
they say,
out of there.
Yeah,
you'd probably talk my ear off and be like, oh, okay, that's enough, guys.
Yeah. Well, that's what happened with 2 of the kids. I mean, when they first started with us, is they watched us, and you could see them mimicking our movements the next day.
Nice.
So they'd watch us, and they watched us. So one day, they finally got the courage, because we didn't bug them.
Hey, man.
Yeah, will you teach us how to deadlift?
Awesome.
So we're like, Jim told them, grab a bar, jump in. They didn't expect. They're like, oh, okay. And they stuck with us. They loved it. I mean, they fell in love with it with us.
That's awesome. That's awesome. So, I mean, that's just 2 vivid cases just in this brief conversation of, I mean, maybe even 3. So, you worked with your cousin. You said, whatever, we're going to buy P90X. We're going to do this, right? So, you didn't have to say, no, we have to figure this out ourselves. We'll write our own workouts, You found someone to help you out. You got some information, and then you put it in play. It appeared you did the same thing with Jim. You said, hey, person who doesn't, who knows more than me, can you help me out? And then once again with the powerlifting piece, and now you get to share it with some people that might not know about it otherwise. Yeah,
I say it's great. That's what I love about it.
And I understand the Gymtimidation part, but I also think it's something where your ego kind of ends up going. It has to kind of get pushed aside a little bit to go say, hey, can you teach me a little bit more about this, or can you help me? Because I've been there too, as far as where maybe I wasn't intimidated, but I wasn't going to ask you for help, or I wasn't going to ask you for pointers or something.
Yeah,
like I got to go figure this out, and then as soon as I come back, I do more than you, and then I'll be like, yo, what's up? You want to be friends?
That's usually how it works. Yeah.
So what I would say is, like, for folks that are starting a new workout regimen in 2018, coming up to some folks. I mean, obviously, a mid-set. Walk over someone and start, maybe yakking them, but you catch them around the water fountain. People are more than happy to share what they've done, what they've experienced.
They say 90% of the time you're going to have someone that wants to talk to you and wants to help you or wants to tell you their experience and is willing to help you. And that's what's great about this community. I mean, not just powerlifting, just lifting in general. I mean, there's not anyone that's usually... You have that select few that want to be there just for them. They don't want to talk. They want to be left alone. But that's very few.
Right. And and no matter what you're doing, whether it's, you're playing golf, you're going to run into those guys, right?
That's anywhere in life.
But whatever they're doing, taking it extremely serious and they don't want you to bother them, or they think they're pretentious about it, they think they're better than you, or they're just mean in general. But the vast majority of folks that are going to the gym on a regular basis, I would assert, are more than happy to share whatever information they have. It may not be great information, but they're willing to share it. And they're just looking for more people to join their club, to be part of the Brotherhood of Steel.
No, that's exactly what it is. Is to get more people into it.
Yeah. People that are just coming in after work, getting a sweat on, getting a pump on, getting a lift on, whatever it is. So folks in 2018, I'd say go talk to some people that are lifting, make some friends.
That's what it is go out and find someone. Find something that you want to do, or figure out an idea. Something like, I want to get to this point, and figure out who might be able to help you in that point.
What about, so you find the structured kind of sport of powerlifting. I think you got some certifications. Can you tell me what those are?
Yeah, no, I'm a certified powerlifting instructor.
Awesome.
Through the USPA, because they own their own.
Okay. So USPA, they go and they put you through a course?
Yeah, it was a 3-day course.
Okay.
3 days of exercises, actually going over form, technique,
okay,
going over cues and all the bookwork. And then it was like 180 question test plus some essay stuff and stuff like that.
That's intense.
Yeah, it was. I mean, that's what's good because it makes you actually have to work for what you want.
Right. But also, I mean, do you regret spending any of the money you spent on
No,
that?
not at all.
I bet you that. I mean, I remember for me, I was like, oh, I know most of this stuff. Like, I felt, I had feelings about I was worried about spending, it was $1,000. Spending $1,000 to go become a CrossFit level 1 trainer. Like, I don't know, this is a bad idea. And like, I pulled like the last pennies out of my student loans to go and pay for this thing. It was it's one of the best investments I ever made. I mean, because worst case scenario, I was still going to have that information.
Yeah, still be certified
because I love it. So you guys get you and Jim are
and
certified.
Jim, we're both certified.
Very nice. So maybe we can tag team up sometime, talk about some bench, squat, and deadlift pointers. And,
that'd be great.
And some things like that, because I'd love to just expose more people to picking stuff up,
putting it down.
Yeah, exactly. So competition. Tell me what that's like for you.
Competition it takes back to high school.
Yeah.
I mean, when you're competitive again, because after your high school and you don't have college football, because I didn't go to high school. I mean, I go to college. Mm-hmm. I mean, so after that, you kind of lose that drive, like that competition. Like, sometimes it's a good thrive to have. Like, it's good to compete again. That's what competition's huge. Mm-hmm. It's nerve-wracking all over again. I mean, because
for sure.
In our world, you're up there by yourself.
It's you and the
weights.
It's you and the steel.
Yeah. And 3 judges and the rest of the crowd watching you.
Right.
So, I mean, it's nerve-wracking. It's showing what you do every day in the gym just fine, but having to do it on a platform in front of everybody. Mm-hmm. I mean, but it's great. Like there's nothing, I can't explain it. Like it's an awesome experience. And to know that all your hard work is being put towards a goal.
To give yourself some purpose toward your training.
Yeah.
You had mentioned goals earlier of setting this and having people that are working towards similar things as being these serious. They're big-time helpers when it comes to developing a consistent fitness routine and doing the things that you may not want to do in the moment because you're dedicated to maybe that end result, or you're just enjoying the process.
And that's another thing, is it's a long process. You got to be invested with what we do because, I mean, for one day, we start out 12 weeks.
Right.
So you train 12 solid weeks for that one day.
Right.
I mean, and that's all you get is for that one day.
Well, and you also had 20 years basically leading up to that moment as far as, figuring the stuff that you figured out about working out, getting bigger and stronger with gym, switching into powerlifting. I mean, there's a lot that goes
there's a lot that goes into it,
being a strong. Can you give me some of your, I'm going to save that for the end. So the dedication piece, it really seems that finding a workout partner was pivotal for this.
It is. I mean, so if you can do it on your own and you're one of those people that like to be on your own, that's great. Like, that's awesome. I give you props because I can't be that person. Mm-hmm. I know on days when no one's going to be there, it's harder for me to want to push that strenuous workout because I'm like, well, no one's here, so I'm good. I can stop it.
Right.
4 sets of 5 instead of getting my 6 sets of 5 today.
Makes it easier to slack.
And it does. Or not even show up. Like, oh, no one's going to be there tonight. Do I really need to go?
Right.
I mean, there's nights because work gets in the way. Life gets in the way. Kids, family. Like, it gets tiring sometimes. Like, but that consistency, that is huge. And it doesn't have to be 6-7 days a week. Like, people could get away with 2 to 4 days a week. I mean,
right. You can find yourself a nice, a minimum effective dose 2 to 3 times a week. It doesn't have to be
for 45 minutes.
As long as you're building some consistency. And I think that anyone that doesn't have any, building that consistency is what's going to, and enjoying that process is what's going to lead to whatever it is that you want out of it, whether it's changing your body composition, burning fat, gaining muscle, getting stronger. The consistency is really the bread and butter. It's
huge. Like I say, we have a set schedule. We work, and sometimes it's only 3 days a week because honestly, you need the consistency for the workout, but also you need the recovery. And that's where your rest comes in.
Besides having a training partner there, anything else that you've ever used to get yourself to the gym? Not like illegal substances.
No. I know that. No,
something like what is your self-talk like on that day? I just don't want to go.
Usually, since powerlifting started, it's been programming.
Yeah,
it's having a program and having something like, okay, I got to go in today and I have to hit these numbers. Like this is what I have set. Like, if I slack off, I still got to do it tomorrow. If not, it pushes it off and it throws off the whole schedule. So a lot of it's programming, knowing I have to go in. Like I say, and we've lucked out because I say we have a group. So, I mean, on any given night, there's at least one person there. I mean, very rare is there 2 of us only. Right. So that's another thing is, okay, everyone's going to show up I run programming for a lot of people. I mean, I help for teaching new people, so they hold me accountable a lot.
I gotcha.
So there's nights like I don't want to go, but like, hey, only one person's going. He's like, hey, are you going to be there tonight? I need to go over this. Yeah, I'll be there.
That's awesome. It seems like there's not only is there like one particular workout, but several people to just kind of support that, be that tribe, but not just letting, so-and-so's not going to be there. That means it won't be perfect, or, not making it perfect. It doesn't have to be perfect. If you just get there and it's going to be good. You're not going to be disappointed with yourself. Like, even though it wasn't your best lift.
Yeah, even if it was an off night and you couldn't get the numbers you need to, or just you weren't feeling that well, it's still being there and be able to get in the workout still and getting some work done is helpful.
So you're doing some research for yourself. You're learning a little bit. I mean, you said that you were talking to Adam Lawrence, who's our director of clinical nutrition. He's got some, he's got a ton of information, a ton of knowledge. Good. Tell me a little bit about. So you do P90X. You follow the diet plan.
Yeah, we follow the diet plan.
Way to go.
That was rough. Very rough.
So you got to make some adjustments, right from the gate. Did following that particular diet plan, did it help you make adjustments and follow other diet plans, either that you made yourself, or what did it look like after you got off the 90-day plan?
The results were good. I mean, I was down to where I wanted to be, and I looked good. I mean, I was down to probably 12% body fat, that area, so I was decent. But as far as that, after that, I went to the whole, I want to be bigger. So I really didn't fall into a diet plan. I fell into that whole, the old school mentality, like where Jim and the older lifters is just eat everything.
Dirty bulk.
Eat everything. I mean, if it doesn't bite you, eat it.
Right.
If it bites you, bite it back, kill it, eat it.
Yeah, I get told every day from like age 13, eat son, I had a eating disorder that was totally socially acceptable because I was trying to be big and bad. And I was just eating all the time.
And that's exactly what I did. I mean, I would fill up the fridge at work and empty it by the day. I mean, they'd make fun of me because I'd eat the family lasagnas at 4. For a family of 4, I'd eat it myself, plus I'd eat something right after that.
You got the lunch pail the size of a mini fridge.
I'd come up with a whole bag full of just food.
So you go into, now you're in the dirty bulk. You're just crushing everything. Is that still what you do, or what do you do? What do you do now, or what were the paradigm shifts or changes?
So as I got bigger, I realized I started putting a little more fat than I wanted to. As far as, I mean, I was putting a lot of muscle, but there was also fat I was putting on. So that's why I started getting more into the actual clean eating. As far as, okay, now I'm going to start clean eating more. I'm going to figure out what I have to do to still maintain my calorie surplus, but try to add more clean foods to it instead of just whatever in the kitchen.
Gotcha. Anything that ends up being like your go-to as far as like clean foods?
Right now, just chicken. Yeah. Chicken and rice, steak and rice. I mean, those are just key staples. Right? I'm trying to reprogram my body again. So right now, it's just meat and rice. I mean, and eggs. I mean, that's my key staple for breakfast.
Do you are you still messing around with intermittent fasting?
I did that for 2 months with Adam. Like I say, I lost 5% body fat through him, 4 inches around my stomach. I mean, it was going good. I wasn't losing weight. I was maintaining body weight while doing that.
That's
so
great.
So it was great. For what I wanted, it was working.
Transforming yourself. Awesome.
For what I wanted, it was doing what I wanted it to do. Like I say, now that power season's coming back in, because I was off season, now I have a meet probably in 13 weeks. So now it's time that intermittent fasting doesn't work for my goal. It's time that I need more nutrients, more calories, more carb intake for my lifting days. So now it's strength building is what I'm coming back into.
Awesome word you used there is seasons, right? Because I remember, because I didn't realize that as I was playing ball that I was in seasons. Like, of course, but I'd even say it's the off season, right? Because everything was geared around towards more, faster, because you're still growing and stuff like that. But getting out of sport and almost sentencing myself to working out the same way and this continual linear progression was like a plan for failure for me. Like, as far as, like, I felt like everything had to be super hard, and not understanding that my body was going to need different things during different times of the year, and because I didn't have that sport. I didn't have that fall sport coming up that I was going to have to be in this shape, this shape, and this shape, So I think giving yourself something, so if you have a meet coming up, but I think just people in general, understanding that your seasons are going to be a little bit different. Well,
then you have to change up your seasons because, I mean, eventually you're going to plateau out, and progression's going to stop.
Exactly. So that's what I was kind of trying to describe. That was a much better phrase of just being, I'm just going to keep getting better and better. But then, like you said, plateaus come, injuries come, these different
especially
things.
When you're pushing heavy linear all the time, and then the point where you can't surpass that number because you're plateaued and ego jumps in at that point, and you're trying.
I have to.
Yeah, you have to. It's like I've been stuck here. I got to get past this. And at that point, there's more risk of injury, less recovery.
For sure. So, if someone wanted to, they're not ready to go into a gym yet, right? Where would you suggest that they go, maybe on the internet or social media, to learn a little bit more, either about lifting, about powerlifting? What are some of the things
nowadays
that you like to look at?
Nowadays, there's stuff everywhere on the internet.
Right.
I mean, honestly, beginners is bodybuilding.com. I mean, you get away with a lot of just bodyweight stuff at home.
Oh, for sure.
I mean, when you're not ready to go in front of people yet and put yourself out there, I mean, band work, resistant work, like I say, something similar to P90X and without putting the money out.
Right.
With simple consistency.
Oh, definitely. And there's dozens, there's oodles of different.
They say there's so much information, and it can be overwhelming. I mean, 'cause you're trying to figure out, well, what does this do, or why this? I mean, at that point, you kind of figure out, well, I kind of like the way this looks. Do a little more research into it. Figure out, okay, I'd like to try this first.
Well, I even think it's Beachbody.com that owns P90X.
And they have a ton of different things they put on.
And I even think they do free trials and stuff. You got to text a Rogan to 30 or something like that, and you get a month free where you get to try out.
Well, then I think if you own an Xbox One, they give it to you for free for a year.
Oh, wow.
Through the Xbox One.
I heard that there's some good ones. I heard there's a guy named Beast Mode, which is this big Austrian dude. Come on, bro, keep doing it,
Yeah.
But that eliminates that gymtimidation part of it. That's where you can kind of go, and you can go in your living room, you can go in your garage or something like that, and you can, just get acquainted, build a routine. And it just sounds to me like those are some of the things that helped you, maintain like 20 years of continuing to do what you've been doing. It's a long time.
Yeah, it's been a long time. But it's something I never stopped now. Like it's a part of life.
Right.
Like it's not just a hobby. Like it's life.
Yeah, it's part of your lifestyle. Yeah. And when I talk about wellness and people come up and you gotta help people build a healthy lifestyle. Well, that's like a 10-year process. That's not something where you give someone a pamphlet and walk away and here's your lifestyle. It starts with asking some questions, finding some resources, trying some new things, finding some workout partners, and setting some goals. Kind of see if you can check the ego a little bit, and learning from all that stuff.
See, that's what they do a lot in Russia. Like some of the strongest guys in Russia, Kirill. They told him 10 years ago, I can make you the strongest person in the world, but it's going to take 10 years. And that's what he did. And he came out and just smashed the world record bench press by like 50 pounds.
Yeah.
And he's one of the top 5 strongest on the planet right now.
Wow. And from being patient.
Yeah, patience.
Being patient, and not only patient with the process, but patience with yourself.
Yes.
Because that's got to be, that's some, I've had some dark self-talk, where I'm just not patient with myself. Like, you didn't lift that. Just some nasty things.
No, it gets hard because you know what you want, you know what your goals are, and sometimes the ego jumps in, and that's what it is. It's the ego. It's I want this now. I want this now. I want this now. But then you try it now, and you're like, well, I knew better. Right. I knew that it's a process. It's going to take time to get there.
Right, and so for me, it's like just not being mad at myself. Like, okay, tomorrow's another day, or I didn't hit the lift. Well, kid kept me up late, woke me up early, is sick, parent-teacher conferences, all these different things. No, duh. Yeah, you're not going to maybe make
exactly. That makes a huge difference.
95%, but if you're in there, if you're touching the steel, you're going to be in a better spot than if you're just blowing it off.
That's what I tell other guys too. Like, you might have a set number today, but everyone's life goes in a way. It's lack of nutrition, lack of hydration, lack of sleep will all play a role in your purpose in the gym on certain days, and you won't have what you need. So that's why I tell them, don't worry about it. Drop the weight. Get something you can do for those sets still, so you still get the work in.
There we go. Another good ego check right there.
Yeah.
Do something that you can do. My quote and my little email signature is a Teddy Roosevelt quote. Do what you can with what you have where you're at. And I really like that quote because, again, like you said, you can go in your living room and you can use your body weight and you can get a lot of fitness,
Yeah, you can.
In my wellness coordinator interview, they said, "What's your favorite piece of exercise gear?" I said, "Right now it's gravity because it's everywhere." And I've been pushing steel, I've been pushing weights for a long time, and for me, that variety is important for, building in the bodyweight exercises and the cardio, respiratory endurance pieces and stuff like that. So, bodyweight exercises are key, but I do like to push me some steel.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, playing in weights.
It's a good escape.
It is.
I mean, from even simple things to even bad days to, I mean, it's a good escape. I mean, it helps the hormones in the body in a positive way.
Absolutely. So locally, sounds like you almost got yourself like a powerlifting team. You guys train at SLV.
Yes, SLV Sports and Wellness. Like I say, we got a new owner, Justin, 2 years ago?
Yeah.
And we came across the opportunity to buy a bunch of powerlifting equipment. We gave him the opportunity first. He said at the time he couldn't, but he'd give us a room. He'd rent us a room for it, and he'd take care of us that way if we could buy the equipment. So, I mean, it's been a huge help having the owner of the gym give us our own separate room. Cause also,
seems like Sports and Wellness is really like focused on the people that go there.
It is. That's why I enjoy Justin ever since he took over, because you see that he's trying to make it better. He tries to make it.
Tons of
He wants your input.
Yeah.
He wants, okay, what do we really need here? What will really be used? What would you guys prefer to like or don't like? Or so, I mean, yeah, it's about the environment. It's not about the money for him. Well, I'm sure it is too, but I mean, that's not priority. It's getting the community in there more often. I mean, they offer a ton of classes for even people that are new. I mean, my sister's new to it. She just really started working out for the first time in her life this week as the New Year's resolution.
Wow. That's
and
awesome.
She jumped into the classes right away. I mean, it's something simple.
And again, going back to that P90X, you know, where you got some structure, you got someone that's, you know, kind of there to help you, and you can go through, and you don't have to be a pro, an expert, or in the greatest shape. You can kind of just follow along, and there's people that want to help you get fit.
Yeah, exactly. And she's loving it. And I told her now's the next step is consistency. I said, just because you're new doesn't mean you could quit off right away. So you give yourself 2 to 3 days a week. They're consistent, at least for 4 weeks. I was like, you know, then you'll really enjoy it more. And then the soreness will go away, things will get better, and you'll want to do more. So I say we lucked out there with Justin. Like I say, so we and Jim got a great deal on some equipment, set up our own room, and pretty much we have a whole team.
That's outstanding. That's awesome. Well, it's great to keep, you know, and create your own little sub community that you can share the particular things that you like. And there's just tons of those out there. Whether you like Olympic lifting, whether you like
CrossFit's huge in that. I mean, that's huge to get the community together.
And again, back to that Gymtimidation thing. I think in general we have so much more in common than we do differently.
Yes.
It just looks a little bit different, and we're so passionate about what we do. We like to argue about it. And
well, I said the end goal of everyone is to look better in strength. That's all our end goal in the gym. I mean, whether you're doing it a certain way or I'm doing it a different way, it's still the same end goal.
Mark Bell, he cracks me up with his, I just want to make the world a better place to lift.
Yeah.
That's awesome. Mike, tell me a little bit. I want to hear about what are your best competition numbers?
Best squat is a 545. Wow. Best bench right now is 385 on the platform. And my deadlift is at a 555.
Outstanding. What is that total?
My best total right now is a 1472.
Very nice.
I say my goal for this end of this year is a 1536 to qualify for nationals again.
Wow. So you're 100 pounds away, right?
60, 1536.
Oh, excuse me.
At a lower body weight. I'm trying to keep this lower body weight.
Got it. So what are you about 230?
So I've been walking about 222, 225 area.
Okay.
Like I said, I usually compete 240. Like I say, with powerlifting, it's weight class. It's like wrestling.
So do they use the same ones? Like, do they have like a super heavyweight?
Yeah, so 308 plus is your super heavyweight.
Okay.
And then you have your classes from like, I think it starts off at 114s.
Okay.
And then you jump up there 132s, 165s, 181s, 98s. It's like wrestling. So you have your actual weight class.
198s, and then is there a 105 kilogram or like
There's a 220.
Okay.
Well, see, some federations are different, like the IPL and the USPLA. They're like the 230. But with ours, it's 220 to 242, and then 275.
Awesome.
Certain federations have a different scale.
Yeah, you just kind of get on there.
You just got to figure out which federation you're in and where you got to be.
Super. Mike, if someone approached you and said, hey, I'm looking to, get into a gym, I'm looking to start some kind of a routine, what advice would you give them?
Tell them to do it. Jump in. We're willing to help. If you have any questions, ask. If I can't help you, I'll find someone that can.
Awesome.
I mean, because there's so much knowledge in this world that I'll never know. That I want to know. I mean, because it's all about knowledge.
Yeah, we got the whole we have everything we'd ever need to know in our pocket most of the time. What is a purchase of $50 or less that has been awesome for you in the gym setting? Could be a stick of chalk, $50 or less, something that someone could take, some of their wellness monies that they earned and pick up for themselves that could just improve their experience just a little bit.
Just a simple piece of lifting gear, whatever it is that you're consistently doing. Like with us, I mean, I have a whole bag full of gear.
Yeah.
But like I say, it just depends on your sport or what you're looking to do as far as the gym. Like I say, lifting belts, there's I mean, I lift in what's called classic raw, where you wrap your knees and squat instead of just knee sleeves. I mean, even simple things like that. I mean, it's hard to justify what.
Yeah.
I have so much that.
Of course, you got to prioritize.
Yeah. It depends on what you want. I mean, simple resistance bands is huge. I mean, if that's all you want to start off with.
You know what?
And dumbbells.
I bought one of Mark Bell's hip circles.
Oh, those are great.
And I even have it right here.
Yeah.
And that thing is a game changer.
It is. It's huge
for warm-ups, and all it is and you don't even need to spend the $25 or whatever this is, but it's just a stretchy band with some cloth on there, and using it, wrap it around your knees so you can activate your go muscles and
simple
and
side steps, simple lunges with it. Yeah,
that's been my go-to. Mike, thank you for sharing. I didn't know that you used to be a small guy. I used to be a small guy too.
Yeah, I was tiny.
So going, I went through that quest, of trying to put on muscle and weight onto some gangly, awkward frame and stuff like that. So, I know the struggle. I've been there too, where you're just trying to stuff your face. You're just eating everything in sight. And man, I tell you what, transitioning out of that mindset and all those habits,
it's hard.
Into the office land is tough, but asking questions, finding other people, finding accountability partners, those are the best things that we can do to take care of ourselves.
Yeah, no, I agree.
Mike, thank you very much for spending this time with me.
Yeah, thank you. I appreciate it.
Thanks, brother.